Greetings, brothers and sisters. So, this shows you what a mess the world is in Hollywood and whatever. Matthew Perry stuns fans with slurred speech in Friends reunion promo. Hey, I'm interested in listening to Matthew Perry's slurred speech. This headline's for me. I found this then trending on YouTube Trends. It's Friends reunion exclusive, cast reflects on beloved show. And so the Friends stars are looking a little bit rough. I thought they were younger than me. I guess they're older. Jennifer, you'll see it in a moment. Like their faces are, especially Jennifer Aniston. And Matthew Perry is definitely not mentally there anymore. Let's start with that. So first of all, he looks very lost. And Monica looks sad.
Wow, that's an interesting question. I think over the years we've
He looks completely lost. Let's look at him again here. She looks depressed and, a bit crazy, witch-like. And look at Matthew Perry. I'll turn the music off here. The volume. You just watch Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry isn't doing so well. Ross likes to talk, though. Just looking lost, some sort of self-medication going on there. They kind of hid Matthew Perry here, but he has a couple of lines.
So that's been nice.
While being a really close-knit group, we don't see each other, all six of us, a lot.
We've only been
So yeah, that's kind of disturbing. So Matthew Perry has done a lot of recreational drug use and alcohol. I think he's been in rehab a few times. And then there was this moment later on.
He asked permission.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stole the cookie jar that had the clock on it, and I gave it to Lisa Kudrow. Because she, one point, looked at it and thought it was a real clock, and I gave it to her.
Wow, bro. So I think maybe he's caught something from one of these young internet frickin' skanks. He's on this dating app. And, but I think probably it's recreational drug use. But hard times for Matthew Perry. Now, this headline from, a couple weeks ago, Kate Harrelson kicked off Rhea after calling out Matthew Perry. You remember this. She was like 19-year-old, barely legal, right? So he's got this barely legal interaction from some dating site that hooked him up with a 19-year-old.
Do you always play with your hair this much?
Do you always play with your hair so this much? Was his now that makes a lot more sense that his mental functioning is down. And then later on, she came out with the New York on page 6 got her to talk about being kicked off of Rhea because she shared that private video. The blonde beauty claimed the actor asked her at one point, "Am I as old as your dad?" And so, hard times for Matthew Perry. So to understand this, I'm 56. So these guys, so the only one older than me is Lisa Kudrow. I just went and checked the ages. Matthew Perry's 51. And so, like this is bad living right here. What you're about to see is bad living.
And it fits.
Please show it to me.
It's a little lace. It's a floral.
So hard times for Jennifer Aniston. Like she's her voice and everything. Just not going her way, right? These guys are just, bad, rough living, right? Like all this plastic surgery and whatever Hollywood stuff's going on.
I've every day since. Yeah. It's still to me one of the greatest jobs I've ever had.
She's itching her legs here like she's got poison ivy or something, right?
Yeah, it goes so beyond the work and what the show was, which was in and of itself just a spectacular phenomenon.
And so they're still very unlikable. See, the thing about Friends was it was 6 annoying characters. And people have made it into something, I don't know why, right? It wasn't really funny. There wasn't like, funny jokes. The show was not, very contrived. But it became this, mega show years and years ago. And they were annoying characters, annoying people. They weren't like interesting people as a cast. They weren't smart. They didn't have some socially redeeming qualities. And now they're old, right? Hollywood old. Like Hollywood old is the worst because they try so hard to keep young. And then they just their faces get messed up from the plastic surgery. And like she's got her hair, so she's trying to cover up and kind of unrecognizable. Matthew Perry's brain is cooked. And, Joey's still stupid. Ross is still annoying. Jennifer Aniston is, was the big star to leave this show. And now is, paying the price for trying to remain as young as possible, appear as young as possible. Because that's what happens in Hollywood. They try to appear younger than they are because getting old is, the worst possible thing. A fate worse than death in Hollywood. Hollywood's made perpetual youth, this idea of being young forever, as, the standard. Everyone's trying to live up to that, right? Just like get old gracefully. It's natural, and it's not a bad thing, Neither is death. I mean, it's just something that it's a part of life, right? But Hollywood has made this ideal that everyone's supposed to, diet and exercise and get plastic surgery and, use deceptive lighting and filters and all these things to look younger than you actually are. It's just pathetic, right? And then everyone's trying to copy that mold and it doesn't work. And then it falls apart at some point. The plastic surgery doesn't last. And then you look like some sort of alien, right? You're no longer a human being. And so, it's not like there isn't some date in the future where it all just falls apart and then you look worse than ever because you don't look natural. You don't look human. Then I saw this on Huffington Post. So no one told you the Friends reunion trailer was going to make you cry. Why is it going to make me cry? Because they're scary.
The test is ready. Rachel wrote Ross a letter and demanded he read it before they got...
Matthew Perry's having some sort of a flashback. The shrooms. The shrooms and the ecstasy are coming back up. And the DMT.
Back together. How many pages was that letter?
18 pages!
18 pages.
Front and back!
Front and back is correct.
Wait.
Wow. Just sometimes you just never want to go back, right? And this is one of those cases.
Cost of Friends.
So to make it even more annoying, they brought in James Corden. It wasn't annoying enough. They brought in James Corden.
We've literally just slipped right back.
Yeah, they just slipped back into this wonderful, realistic show about some friends.
Were Ross and Rachel on a break?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Bullshit.
Oh, Joey with the potty mouth. Keep in mind, these are the best jokes. These are the highlights. This is what they're trying to get you to come and watch, right, in the trailer.
Everyone was so perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want 6 annoying people to watch, waste their lives away in an unrealistic drama. Matthew Perry.
Oh! My eyes! I know.
There's a reason why they say you should never go back, or you can never go back. There was a hill when I was growing up. I had a bicycle, with a banana seat and handlebars, right? And I had this hill at my house, and I used to pedal as fast as I could down the hill, and I thought it was going 120 miles an hour. I would laboriously go up this hill. And then, sometimes I had to walk my bike up the hill. And then I would ride my bike down as fast as I could. And I thought the bike was shimmy and shake, right? A couple times, one time I like popped a wheelie, is what it was called in the day, right? And while I was riding a wheelie, the tire fell off the front of my bike, and there was just the forks of the bike because of the way the front wheel was on. And I knew as soon as I put those forks down that I was going to come to a grinding halt and go over the handlebars. I was trying to pull the bike up, but I couldn't do it. It was already going down towards the ground. And I hit it and I flipped over the handlebars, all these things. So years later, I go back to my neighborhood and I couldn't believe how small the hill was. Like, it was like, that was the hill. It was barely a slope, right? And then I went to my elementary school, which I thought was giant. When I was a kid, it's this tiny little school, comparatively just a small thing to what I remembered. Because when you get older, you perceive things differently. Your consciousness opens up, right? You can see things, in your kids' lives and things they have to deal with, and they just can't even conceive of them, right? You try to talk to them, and they just can't, that's why you're at these different stages in your life. And Friends was a goofy show, unrealistic, not funny. The characters, the people, the actors aren't funny in real life. They're not really interesting. They're not, you wouldn't, if you talk to them, you're like, oh, I got to walk away. They're kind of pathetic, right? And actors are like that because it's the ultimate of your high school days being your glory days. And for everybody but Jennifer Aniston, the cast of the show, they're, they didn't really have much of a career afterwards. So this is their glory days, and they're now sad and pathetic. They're Hollywood old, right? And so it's just like sad and depressing, trying to relive their glory days of this crappy, not funny show. And the consciousness of the world and the country has changed. That's another piece to this, right? Things are opening up. There's spiritual awakening. What I talk about with the heartfulness meditation. There are things going on inside of people that they're not, they're not even totally aware of. Like, people are opening up. It's the end of a yuga. And so this is like, 80s, right? Going back to the 80s. And I guess people are streaming the show now, so it has like a little bit of a reboot. But it's not even an authentic. It's authentic in the sense of how superficial the 80s and 90s were, the whole Seinfeld and, Friends stuff. But it's not like something you want to go back to. Those weren't glory days for anybody. Times have changed, right? Now with COVID and, all the things that have happened, the internet, right? And people are different now, like completely different. The changes that are happening are rapid. The good and the bad and the ugly, all these things are happening at once. There's a spiritual revolution, but there's also a degradation of the world culture, just going into the world, diving headfirst in the world of depravity. And these shows kind of kick that stuff off, but things are much worse now. Like, now you have swearing and nudity and things like the F word on network TV and things like this. Shows and TV are completely different from that time, right? And a lot of the stuff is more realistic and it's like better quality, right? It's not this, fake superficial sitcom with the laugh track and all the rest of it.
And on the TV was an aerial shot of each of our houses.
Oh, jeez.
And I remember looking at it going, what my roof is a mess.
Boom. Joey's roof's a mess. They bring in the comedy joy here. Look at Ross. Like, just even he points, it's annoying. Matthew Perry's still having some sort of a flashback.
It was an incredible time. We became best friends.
Yep, I'm gonna cry now. Yep, I'm gonna cry now. Yep, I'm gonna cry now.
Go ahead and cry, Matthew Perry. You got a lot to cry about. Let it all out, bro. This is your opportunity. One unforgettable night.
When I watch the episodes, I'm laughing out loud because you all make me laugh so hard.
Friends wasn't a funny show, and those aren't funny people, right? They're just not naturally funny people. And sitcoms themselves aren't really funny. Like, they are, how many times would you really hear a good joke on a sitcom? Once in a while they got like a really good joke. But it was like, one an episode or one every 10 episodes, and depending on the show itself. They just smother these shows in stupidity and catchphrases and laugh tracks, right? And they're just, they're not funny.
I know you know how big the show is. What you have given so many people is an experience of huge comfort.
Tom Selleck's in this one. There he is. He's coming through the door.
We felt like we had these friends.
I love you guys so much.
As you were staring at this, you're staring at the TV and your passive alpha brain waves, drooling out of the side of your mouth. We felt like we had these friends we had. They were our friends, right? And it's just, that's it. Streaming on HBO Max. It's must-see TV. Speaking of deteriorating brains and dementia, let's see how let's check in our president. He's given an address to the Coast Guard. JoJo, no mask for JoJo. JoJo's going maskless. He's rocking the non-mask again.
Thank you. Hello, Coast Guard Academy. I tell you what, we're going to speak for about 4 hours to see if those white uniforms last longer to keep the heat away than these poor guys in their graduation gowns here.
What are you talking about, JoJo? JoJo, stick to the script. These white uniforms last longer. Why are they going to, is it like the, Cinderella? They're going to disappear at noon? Like, there's rumors that JoJo wakes up in the middle of the night, starts yelling at his staff, because he's broken down mentally. I don't know if it's true, but, could be.
God love you. I thought I was hot in a blue suit. Governor Lamont, it's good to see you, man. You've been
good to see you, man. Man, it's good, man. All right, man. Yeah, man. Good to see you.
a good friend a long time. And I understand the senior senator from this state for a long time, Chris Dodd, is here. I don't know where you're. I don't think you're in the class.
Look, he's got his Magoo eyes, right? JoJo's eyes are getting more and more closed. They're going to disappear altogether. He's going to be Mr. Magoo. JoJo's pretty soon going to be Mr. Magoo, right? Like, I'm just, it's a slow transition for me. JoJo's a good nickname, but Mr. Magoo is coming around the corner, and he's Magooing it over here. You done it again, Magoo.
Chris, but you want to, where is he? Chris.
Where is he? He's over there. Chris Dodd was, I was in Connecticut, and he had some sort of an affair. There's a news person, Janet Peckinpah was her name. And she was, there was Gail King, was Oprah's good friend, and they were on Channel 3 together in some news program. There was some sort of affair. I don't know what it was. Chris Dodd's a real creep.
Chris, welcome, pal. One of the finest men I've ever served with in my whole career.
Creeps of a feather stick together.
And Mayor Pissarro.
Well, I just had a little JoJo meltdown there, right? Like he got stuck on auto drive.
Served with in my whole career. And Mayor Pissarro, I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for the passport into town. And I want to thank again Secretary Mayorkas for joining me today as well.
So I guess he's not they didn't script this. Is there a teleprompter? I didn't see one when it came out. Is there one up there? I don't see. Is there? I guess that's it right here. Here it is. There's the teleprompters. Right now he's winging it though.
Thank you for being here. Thanks for the passport into town. And I want to thank again Secretary Mayorkas for joining me today as well. He understands well how vital the Coast Guard is to our economic, our environmental, and our national security, and how central you are to our Homeland Security mission.
So JoJo's not making it, right? I don't think he's going to get to the end of his presidencies. Like they're going to have to hide him away after, he's just not going to do it. Like they're keeping him around for a year because, they propped him up for the election, but I don't see him. Like, he's not together, right? He's just not there anymore. Less and less. I mean, he's getting worse and worse since the campaign, and he wasn't doing great during the campaign, all the way back to the primary. He's kind of babbling here, right? And then he says this about, he's talking about his He's talking about his son, Bo, who was in the military, right? And he, he died of a brain tumor or something.
I had a son in the United States military. He was very proud. He was a Major U.S. Army, won the Bronze Star, anyway. And when he went to Iraq for a year, he got the general to agree to change his name from Biden to Hunter, his mother's maiden name, because he didn't want to be viewed as having gotten any favor,
His mother's maiden name was Hunter? Like what? Like you named your son Hunter after your wife's maiden name? Like his first wife died in a car accident or something, right? With a daughter. And they named the son Hunter after his wife's maiden name. His first name, his son Hunter, his first name is his wife's maiden name. And then his brother changed his last name to Hunter in the military because he didn't want any preferential treatment. And then Bo named this grandchild that Jojo Magoo is mauling here. His name is also Hunter. And so it's a weird family. Like, he named his, they named his one son after his dead wife. Obviously she wasn't dead at the time, but they named him Hunter after, her maiden name. And look how he turned out, right? I mean, Hunter Biden. And then Bo changed his name to Bo Hunter, which is weird. Was in the military because he had all this leverage, and he tells the general, I want to be Bo Hunter because I don't want preferential treatment. And then Bo names his son Hunter, and he dies, and then JoJo mauls him here. Remember I talked about this weird, this is at Bo's funeral, and JoJo's mauling Hunter, puts his hand over his mouth, and just off the charts creepy. Just a weird family. Like, just all kinds of weird stuff in the family. All this tragedy, who knows what that's all about. And just creepy and, very strange.
Who now serves as my Coast Guard Millet, Lieutenant Commander Jana. Now, I'm going to embarrass her.
Not just her, JoJo Magoo. You're going to embarrass us all, right? You're embarrassing us all. And he makes it sound like somebody's talking to him. Hey, you're going to embarrass her. Oh, I'm going to embarrass her? Like, you hearing voices, JoJo? What's happening?
Now, I'm going to embarrass her. I'm going to embarrass her. I'm Jana Macron of the class of 2007.
What are you doing, JoJo? He can't hold it together and get through this speech. He's like having breakdowns and glitches and whatever. It's only 3 minutes into this thing. JoJo's falling apart here, bro.
Who first installed in them the sense of service, who helped them hear the calling of higher duty. So it's your day, too. Cadets, stand up, turn around, and salute your parents. Get up, 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 up.
What's happening? What's happening with Magoo? Magoo isn't getting, I don't know, bro. Like, it's hard times for Joe Biden and his Mr. Magoo ways.
Now, I'm going to embarrass her. Get up, up, up. Now, I'm going to embarrass her. Get up, 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 up. Now, I'm going to embarrass her. Get up, 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 up. Get up, 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 up. I tell you what, achieve something few others can claim. You survived our day and billet night. You made it through swab summer. You got a haircut that showed every damn bump in your head.
They got short hair. Way to go, Magoo.
You learned to square the quarters and square your medals. Look, your meals, I should say.
Exactly. They learned to square their quarters and square their medals, which they can't have because they're just cadets. And he was like, oh, your meals.
And you memorized, and this is the part I found would have been hard, memorize running lightning. I'm going to ask you all to stand up and repeat it. No, I'm only kidding. You earn your shoulder boards and your Agulets.
I don't know what some of these words mean, but I'm pretty sure he's not pronouncing them correctly. I don't think he means agulets.
You passed through 100th week and maybe spent a little too much time at the slice. You can clap. Come on, man. You're moving on. Show.
Come on, man. Way to go, Magoo. That's his signature line. Come on, man. I knew it was coming.
A little courage. And like all the students across the country, you had to figure out what it meant to finish your second year class with virtual instruction. The pandemic upended so much of our lives. As was mentioned several times so far, last year's graduating class didn't get to have this ceremony in person. But the Coasties fashion that you all have, you met the threat head on. You adapted, showed your resilience, and you led. The class.
They showed them their lead. They showed COVID their lead, and COVID backed away. COVID doesn't like the lead.
But you found ways. You found ways to keep many of the Academy's traditions alive, and maybe even formed a few new ones. You still were able to bring your cars on campus. You just weren't allowed to go anywhere in those cars. Oh, man, I tell you what, I'd have trouble watching my car sit there.
Exactly, President Magoo. Staring at your parked car is more your speed. I think you should go back to staring at your parked car, because that's something that I think that you could do effectively.
But maybe dipping your ring in Crown Park or having your ring dance outside will be a new standard. The Super Bowl of intercompany sports may become an annual event. And by the way, congratulations to the Bravo Company, by the way, for your victory. You can clap.
Go ahead and clap, you guys. Go ahead and clap. I want you to clap. Why aren't you guys clapping? I want you to clap. I don't hear. Why aren't you guys clapping? Woo! Bravo Company, woo!
Even if you lost, you got to clap.
They do not have the clap, JoJo. That's an unfounded suggestion. Do you have the clap?
And though everything you found through it all, you found ways to excel in the classroom and in athletics. You've got 9 All-Americans in your ranks today, including record setter in the track and field 5,000 meters.
Keep in mind he's reading this and he's still botching the crap out of it. And somebody wrote this down. Like, this is a bad speech.
And most importantly, you had each other's backs. When times got hard, you were there for one another. That's something you all learn quickly at the Academy.
That's something you all will learn quickly at the Academy that you're graduating from. Magoo, you're confused again.
For one another. That's something you all learn quickly at the Academy. You can't crew the Tall Ship Eagle without working together. It's not possible.
Please tell me everything you know about crewing the Tall Ship Eagle. Sounds like you're an expert. Like, what do you know about crewing the Tall Ship Eagle? What's your knowledge base for that comment? Is it something that you know a lot about, or just reading from this teleprompter right here? Because you want to sound like you're one of the guys, like you're in the know with the Coast Guard grads.
Assume that you will enjoy educating your family about how the Coast Guard is, quote, the hard nucleus around the Navy forms in times of war. You're a really dull class.
JoJo laying it down. You know what? Fuck it. You guys are just dull. He's just letting loose here. Stick to the script, JoJo. That's great. Let's watch that again.
About how the Coast Guard is, quote, the hard nucleus around the Navy forms in times of war.
So he was waiting to deliver this line. Like, he was like, that line's going to nail it, right? And they give him no reaction. He's like, you guys are a really dull class.
You're a really dull class. I mean, come on, man. Is the sun getting to you?
Come on, man. You're not laughing at any of my grandpappy jokes. Come on, man. JoJo thinks he's funny and he's not. It's a horrible speech. Pretty much everybody he's talking to voted for Trump, right? it's a sparse crowd. They don't, because of COVID. And it's like he's complaining. Come on, man. You guys are laughing. That was a big line I just delivered.
I would think you'd have an opportunity when I say that about the Navy to clap, but being here together.
I gave you an opportunity to clap. You're welcome.
Together.
Woo! President Magoo wants us to clap. Woo! He's sad and pathetic. Woo! We made him smile. Woo! Clap for Magoo.
But all kidding aside, being here.
All kidding aside, you guys aren't a bunch of boring M&Fers, right? This is classic Magoo. Okay, so I got a depressing movie trailer to get to. So then there's a trailer that was trending on YouTube Trends called Dear Evan Hansen Official Trailer. And, it's a very typical 2021 teen movie.
Dear Evan Hansen, today is going to be an amazing day, and here's why.
So this is when I knew the movie was going to suck. To be fair, when I saw the title, Dear Evan Hansen, I knew it was going to suck, but this is when I really knew. Be yourself, not question mark, exclamation point. Evan Hansen, be yourself. Write yourself a letter and be yourself.
Doing those letters to yourself with Dr. Sherman?
Have you been doing those letters to yourself? Instead of have you been writing those letters to yourself? Right? Have you been doing those letters to yourself? Sounds like a metaphor or a code word for something else. Stop doing those Stop doing those letters to yourself or you're going to go blind.
I've been trying to.
Evan's sad because teens are sad today, and it's good for them to be sad. It's natural for them to be sad. And we should make as many movies and TV shows and songs about their sadness and make them even more sad. And then just have this, egregore and group consciousness of sadness.
Have you ever felt like nobody was there?
There's a song in this one. What's happening here?
No one signed your cast. Now we can both pretend we are friends.
Connor's a real jerk. Signed his cast with Big Connor. That's not cool, Connor. Connor.
We can both pretend we are friends.
I'm sorry about my brother.
Have you ever felt...
Just have a good cry. Everyone needs a good cry now and again. Have a good cast cry. He's coming into the lunchroom. Looks like, part of his problem is he's like 23 or something. He looks like he's a little bit old to be in high school. As of now, he's 27. His name's Ben Platt. And so he shot this movie. He's probably 23, 24, at least 25. And an old 25. He's not a young 25. He's at school, and he's printing out the letter to himself.
That's mine. I'll just take it. Wait, I need that back.
That jerk Connor has taken Evan Hansen's private letter to himself.
Took a letter from me, and it was an assignment from my therapist. Ew.
Connor took his letter. Connor, signed his cast and took his letter.
Connor's mother and stepfather are here to see you.
Of course they are, because something's happened to Connor.
I wanted you to have this.
And when you're broken...
Dear Evan Hansen, he wrote it to you.
His last words, Connor took his own life.
This sucks so bad. Now look at this. This is a ripoff of Robin Williams' movie. You guys remember this movie? Called The World's Greatest Dad. And this was, let's just watch a little bit of this.
Thanks.
Anybody else have their haiku?
My name is Lance Clayton. I'm a writer.
He's Lance Clayton, and he's a writer.
But so far, nothing I've written has ever been published.
He's not really a writer. He just writes things on paper, but no one else reads them.
Does it bother you that I have male friends?
Not at all.
He's a cuck. So he's eating a slice of pizza talking to his miserable son. He's got a horrible son.
Or get a movie?
Are you stupid? Movies are for losers and aren't fed.
So this is his son who's miserable, evil, and just completely unlikable. Like Connor in this other movie. And like Connor, his son committed suicide.
Are you on your period or something?
We're going out to dinner tonight with Claire.
What? No.
If you don't act right at dinner, I'll stab you in the face.
That's good quality parenting. So, unlike Connor, his son, Robin Williams' son, Kyle, in this movie, doesn't commit suicide like Connor. He was actually masturbating with trying to strangle himself with a rope tied to a doorknob, and he accidentally hangs himself, which Robin Williams did for reals, according to the official story. He got dementia, much like JoJo Magoo. So there was this scene in the movie, and then Robin Williams ended up doing the same thing, and everyone was talking about predictive programming. And so now this new movie in 2021 is completely ripping off this plot. Robin Williams in the movie ends up writing a fake suicide note, and he makes it very dramatic because he is, you know, an aspiring writer, and it goes viral, and he becomes famous, and the whole school, even though they hated this kid, everyone hated this kid, rallies around him. And this other movie, Dear Evan Hansen, literally just lifts this whole plot from the Robin Williams movie. So not only is it very, you know, I mean, it's a bad movie, and it glorifies being broken and depressing and all these things that suck about teen movies, it's not even original. I mean, it's emotionally manipulative, and they've just lifted the plot off of some other movie.
I'm sorry, Connor didn't write this.
No, please.
And she discovers that Connor, you know, signed the cast even though he was doing it as a dick move.
We didn't think Connor had any friends.
I mean, you really gonna tell these people that the only thing they have left of their son is a letter that you wrote to yourself?
So this is the same crap that happened to Robin Williams. They've stolen this plot, right? From a kind of, you know, it was a Bob Gothwait movie, the former comedian. You know, he made these sort of dark comedy movies. But they turned this into some depressing teen musical because there's like songs.
Together memorial service, if you wanted to do something.
So, let that lonely feeling wash away.
He's singing a song. There's a song in this one.
I didn't know that you were hurting.
Just on a side note, how genetically could Julianne Moore be this kid's mom? Like, they don't seem to share any physical characteristics or anything else. But, you know, it's a movie.
A lot of people feel like us.
In fact, it's all the teenagers in the world, all the teenagers in America feel this way because they're depressing the crap out of them with movies like this, right?
People started sharing it. It's everywhere.
So this is exactly what happened to Robin Williams' movie. The, you know, suicide note he forged took off and then went viral and went national, and this guy, the same thing. He sings a song giving tribute to a kid that was bullying him that he didn't even like and didn't even know.
You don't know how much you've given my family and me.
He ends up banging Connor's sister. There is a difference here, though, in the trailers. Like when you watch the World's Greatest Dad trailer, they don't give you everything, right? They don't give you every little bit of it, you know, the whole movie. They don't give the whole plot, the whole story. They actually don't even let you know that his son dies. They make it look like a comedy. I guess they're trying to sell it as a comedy instead of depressing. But in the modern day trailers, they basically tell you the whole movie.
Were you ever actually friends with him?
He's a liar and a cheater.
I never meant to make it such a mess. If you knew who I am, just how broken I am.
It's 2020, the year of the broken, remember? Somebody said that. A wise man once called 2020 the year of the broken. That's when this movie was made.
I have to tell them.
He's got to come clean at the school dance. And here's the big finale. Boom. Dear Evan Hansen. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. See these manly men. Like Evan Hansen do manly things on Sunday. So this is where we are as a culture. You know, I've talked about this so much, the year of the broken, but this was something that was 2020, but it was something that's been going on for a number of years where they're celebrating broken people and saying it's okay to be broken. Not okay, but good, right? Because everybody suffers. You go through emotional and psychological difficulties. Everybody has trauma and problems and things like this. And there's effects from modern day life. The modern day system is bad for people, and it has negative psychological consequences. And that part's true. That part is, I guess it's okay in the sense that it happens to everybody. But instead of fixing the system that I call the beast, right? Instead of getting rid of electromagnetic poisoning, like frequency poisoning, pollution, like the Wi-Fi and just all of it. Because electricity has an effect on people. Emotionally, neurasthenia. I've talked about this before in many videos. When the telegraph operators started to exhibit the onset of psychological and nervous disorders and depression and, emotional disorders, all these things started when there was, the introduction of electricity into our lives back in the days of the telegraph. And it was called neurasthenia. And so you have all these abnormal behaviors and, brokenness that's exhibited in human behavior and human beings. Instead of saying, oh, wow, the system sucks and it's turning us all into things, we weren't meant to be, worse or lesser things, disconnected from God, disconnected from our families, low functioning, and all these weird, psychological and physical abnormalities and things. Instead of saying, all right, the system is really messing people up and making them weaker on all kinds of levels, instead of fixing that, they said, well, it's good that you have this. It's normal to be screwed up. It's normal to be broken. And they're celebrating the broken, not saying, okay, this is a sign that we should change things, right, to become more natural. The system is making us go in an unnatural direction, and it's hurting all of us, especially the kids. And each generation gets weaker and worse than the generation before. Instead of saying, all right, let's turn this thing around, they said, no, let's just celebrate the broken. Let's just make being broken normal. And then, then you have broken people running the system, which you already do have, because the wealthy are the most broken in so many different ways. And so then, we have the apocalypse. And so I'm going to come back to this in a moment. I got one more little video clip to show here. So I wanted to include a brief portion of this trailer. The Conjuring movie, The Devil Made Me Do It, because, it's so 2021.
Residents of Brookfield were shocked this afternoon by the broad daylight murder of Bruno Sauls.
In 1981, Arnie Johnson pled not guilty. So apparently this is Arnie Johnson. This might have happened in real life, or I don't know. Who cares? Not going to look it up. It's not important to the context of this thing.
The court accepts the existence of God every time a witness swears to tell the truth.
Every time you try to tell the truth in a courtroom, you have to swear to God. I see where this guy's going with this. Here it is. By reason of demonic possession. This probably is a true thing. I don't know. I'll look it up anyway. They broke me.
I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil. I think it's about time they accept the existence of the devil.
So this movie is based in a true story. A man who claimed demonic possession released 1 month early, January 23rd, 1986, Brookfield, Connecticut. A man who claimed he killed his landlord while possessed by the devil has been released from state prison 1 month earlier after serving 5 years as a model prisoner, authorities say. Just think about everything I've just covered in this video. I can't even remember. By this point, something about JoJo. I don't know. Mr. Magoo. Was he giving a speech or something? Did I start off with something else? Is that what I start off with? Or, oh yeah, Mathew Perry has got brain damage or something. Then JoJo, Magoo, following suit. And then these weird trailers and all this stuff in the movies. It's just, I don't even have to work hard anymore doing this job. If there's two things I do here, the two most essential things, is I document the apocalypse, the breaking down of our system on every level, especially on a spiritual level. Religions no longer are serving any sort of real purpose because the devil is just walking free, right? There's, just demonic abomination stuff all around us as our system slowly, it's not the system, it's the human beings. It's the way the system has affected human beings. And each generation gets weaker and worse. And so that stuff isn't hard to find. In fact, I can't cover everything that people send to me or I discover on the internet that backs these narratives. The need also for spirituality, the heartfulness system, which is, more important than even the breaking down of the system, is the need for a solution. The need to find a way to connect to God on a deeper level. Because it's just an absolute shit show out there, right? I mean, just every day. Like I do this every day, the apocalaughs, finding stuff that's related to the apocalaughs and mocking it. But, in mocking it, I don't want to make it like lighter than it actually is because it's pretty bad out there. It's just a complete moral and every other kind of breakdown. It's a breakdown of everything. It's just disintegrating right in front of us. And so that's why I always say, from the Heartfulness System, second master of the system, Babaji, only spirituality can save this world. It's Paramato. Definitely reporting from the apocalaughs and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.